Hello and welcome back to the beautiful shots of Florida. Sun in the sky, nice ocean breeze. Joe and I aren't there. We wish we were very, very badly. But let's get into our final match of the night, Joe. This is a big one for either team. Surge versus Røkkr.
Yeah, I think for Seattle Surge, they're trying to get some momentum going with this new roster. And then for Minnesota Røkkr, I mean, you're 1-1 in the group. You're trying to get to 2-1, fight for top 3, and really get back to the way what that stage 2 was, right? I mean, when they added Standy to this roster, MajorManiak has been great for them. So I think a big one for both of these squads.
Yeah, well, let's get into it and meet our squads. We're going to start things off with Røkkr. Let's take a look at the team.
Røkkr certainly come to play.
They can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. They can't stop it.
Whoa, Priestahh.
It's Standy! Cuts them all down. What was that? Bang!
MajorManiak, 200 IQ, 10 out of 10 play.
They can't stop it.
Oh my word! Attach is going to save the day. Røkkr, our kings of the north.
A team that we feel has so much potential, really, since the get-go of the year. Just haven't been able to find that lineup, that mix that is finding a ton of success. I'm hoping this is the one with MajorManiak, Attach, Standy, and Priestahh. They have all the pieces to make this thing work.
Yeah, I mean, that's really it, right? Just trying to be in the best form possible for the end of the year. They're still kind of right around the cusp, fighting for that top 8, but these guys, they know the potential of this team, kind of the way we do. But they go for a change. MajorManiak is brought back in. He's been great. I mean, their hard point is 2-1 this stage, controls 1-1. The thing they have to focus on is that search and destroy. Haven't been able to find a win throughout this stage, but it'll get there. I can take some time.
Yeah, and where this is a team, I mean, both teams that have been making changes, trying to find that sweet spot, I feel with Røkkr at least, you've kind of realized your potential at times. There's been points in the year where all right, this is what they can look like. For Surge, you haven't really found that magic mix yet. You haven't showed what this team is fully capable of with the talent that are on this roster, and that's what they're trying to do now. Let's check out the team. Let's take a look at Seattle Surge.
Fire coming in, but can Prestinni win the 2? No. He does. That's 3 straight.
He's trying to get out of there. He challenged and he wins it.
Behind a classic. Trying to line him up. Trying to line him up in the final.
Looking to find a few more, but Gunless absolutely rips his way through the 3 of them.
249, Seattle won! Surge desperately looking to find that form. I mean, trying to get top 8. It's getting scarier and scarier when you're the bottom side of it looking in. Classic now on the roster as he's trying to find his form on this team. Joe, how are they going to get it done?
I mean, that's something I think they're trying to get figured out, right? I think, we have some pieces here. I really look at Classic and Prestinni to get on the same page as a new SMG duo. Just trying to figure that out. But over the game fuel keys, the victory for Seattle Surge for me, I mean, they got to focus on 2, 3, and 5. They are 0-5 at SD and control in this stage, and that is just not a good recipe because what we know from Atlanta FaZe and Toronto Ultra, the way they found their major wins is through those game modes. So, little scary. Their Octane was a major key for them in their SD success in stage 3. But look at the difference right now. A 1.43 to a 0.68. He's got to get back to a good roll. And then the SMG slaying, that could be the key ingredient they need to win control because in the last 8, they have won 0 of them.
The control has been rough, especially from the SMG slaying. And I think there was a stage, when you think back, where Prestinni really seemed to find that form and maybe tough to match that, but it's difficult when your SMG duo is constantly evolving and changing. They're trying to find that form so they can take on the top competition in this league. But now to our game fuel keys to victory for Minnesota Røkkr.
Yeah, MajorManiak needs to continue dominating the respawns. I mean, he's been so good for them, but he's also got a tough matchup, right? He's going up against Octane in Gunless, so can he keep that slaying going? Then don't give Seattle the opportunity and control. They've lost their last 8. Don't give them an opening. Keep that advantage on your side. And if there's one thing I'm looking at for stage 4, it's Priestahh. I think in search and destroy and control, he needs to step things up again. There's only a couple of maps that we're really looking at, but 0.4 and 0.67, that's just not good enough from what we expect from Priestahh.
No, I mean, he at one point was one of the most consistent and versatile players we had in the entire league, and it feels like over the last couple of years hasn't necessarily found that all-star form where we just know he is a lock each and every map to pop off. And you know, it's tough, but you know, kind of like we said on the other side of it, like when the team is constantly changing and you're playing different spots, it can be hard to get comfortable, but gotta do it here to look to focus on the win. A big matchup as they continue on in stage 4. But looking at our maps and modes, Joe, anything that was crazy for you in particular?
I mean, nothing too crazy really from either team because, I mean, these guys haven't had like the most successful years. I think for Minnesota, you have an advantage in the control, obviously, at 3-3, but the Seattle Surge, they're 3-7 on Garrison, but that is really where they kind of got things going in control. Really the one place where they found some success. So I'm surprised to see it. It gets through, but Minnesota Røkkr, they want to take it to them.
Well, we ended our last series on Moscow Hardpoint. We're going to head there again to kick off this one. 2-5 from Røkkr, 3-7 from Seattle, so not necessarily a lights out hardpoint from either, but who's going to find the best form today? I mean, that's what it felt like in the last series. Just who was on point, who had guns up, who caught fire within that map. Felt like who was taking the map. We'll see if it plays a similar role in this one, but we'll start things off with the Røkkr side of things, and onto the opening break we go.
And just early on, just looking at the pressure that maybe Prestinni and Classic are taking to attach and Standy, not an easy SMG duo to go up against, and how those ARs are battling. MajorManiak, a slow start, just trying to wait for his teammates to make a push, but is able to find that opening, pick on Octane, at least open up the street. But nice time, nice break from Seattle Surge.
Beautifully done so far, but MajorManiak has been able to inch his way forward a bit. The rest of his team working off a spawn, but yeah, when you get the strong side spawn, you get all the time at first, you're feeling pretty good if you are Surge. Just Classic and Gunless able to chain together kills. MajorManiak is still tucked away. He's yet to drop. He's been taking his gunfight wins, but finally, he will get ripped off the map, and I'll see where the spawns come in. It'll be a safe spawn for Surge. Spawn out for Røkkr is based on the setup, and now Surge in a good position to get a nice lead built here on second.
Yeah, but Minnesota Røkkr, they find a couple of kills that give them some map to work with. And well, with that, Standy, he's going to take down 2. You do have Octane and Gunless, both Krigs in police. So just trying to keep them off the point and buy time for the submachine guns to get to this side of the map. And Gunless, well, he's done a good job so far. Able to find 2. Røkkr still collecting that time. Nice patience from Attach as he almost finds 4 in a row. Beautifully done by Røkkr. That was one of those situations, kind of what we saw last match, where that opens up into a 70-80 point lead early on.
Yeah, I mean, Gunless was the only one I think got kills during that sequence. I mean, he gets 2, such a great job, but all of his teammates trying to track back and help all get caught. So ultimately, it ends up being a Røkkr break. They'll soak up the time. They'll get the lead change, and Surge will have to focus on our next hard point. But Attach and crew starting to layer the map.
And it looks like Prestinni does spawn out. He does win the gunfight. And he's probably going to try and hold that kill cam, but he's going to spawn so far away. Probably the worst possible spawn that you can get. That was due to Octane's position on the bus street. He was ready for that push. Seattle Surge, the setup they need, and Minnesota Røkkr, you're not even going to get to this point until there's around, 30, 35 seconds left. Looks like with that pick, they will keep them off it. Now, Andy, maybe an opening here to break this setup, or at least get control for that next hill.
Well, he's trying to do it all. All his teammates drop around the hard point. Røkkr, they survive the first blow. They bring it back on second, but excellent job by Surge here on third. So it's going to be on Røkkr now as we go back and forth to try and lock down this bus side. Let's go to an Astro listening with Minnesota Røkkr.
In gold next. You want that closet.
Okay. Might go pillar. Link pillar.
Top pillar.
I'm real pillar. Pillar done. No, pillar towards globe.
Octane dead old.
Watch our back.
Yeah,
here. There's one there.
Yeah, I'm looking at bus stop.
Play for the bus stop. Looking for the guy behind us. One's flashed there.
Yeah,
you looking for the guy behind us?
Yeah,
he's in bank. In bank, one bullet. 2, 3 bank.
I'm gonna nade over your bank.
Pinch me.
I'm seeing bank.
I got one. I'm laying down time.
Prestinni bank.
Laying down time here.
I'm going in gold.
Prestinni, look over me.
Classic.
Yo, mid, classic, dead.
I saw this guy. He's bus, Prestinni.
Yeah, bus. One shot, bus, and one's behind you, laundry window.
Bus.
One shot, bus.
Gunless
and Prestinni.
Me and Dylan are working bus.
Alright, I'm about to
go.
Prestinni is close bus.
I need out by bus.
Alright, I'm here.
I'm gonna go mid here.
Yeah, wait for a sec.
I'm nading.
I'm coming gold.
Alright, we can jump out when
Ready?
they're
Let's
close.
go.
I'm jumping
I'm
out.
in gold. I'm in gold.
I'm getting angle street.
Same
left
from
side
the car. One's gold.
One's on gold. One's on gold.
One's
Prestinni,
gold.
one shot on you.
Close bus.
I'm
There's
staying
two by
out. Staying out plat. Staying out
Yeah, we're
plat.
spawning deep. We're spawning deep.
Okay.
Let's
we
pick
should
it.
stay towards
Nice.
them.
Nice.
Nice. Last guy. Oh, last
Street
guy.
gun this
Nice,
dead.
one more.
Last guy's old. Last guy's on old.
I'm out of gun new.
On the
They
car,
spawning bus up.
Octane
They spawning
dead.
bus up. They might be
They're gonna get switched now. I think that guy's gonna spawn behind us.
I think one guy's spawn street. Prestinni street.
I
dead.
got one street.
One
Nice,
back
we're
up.
looking for two.
Gunless back to Laundry for sure.
Preston
Okay,
classic.
here.
Gunless and
I'll look
same.
for him.
Gunless
I'll
and
look for
same.
Gunless.
Alright.
Let's go.
I'm gonna help
Got
hill.
truck. Got truck on this.
I'm
Got
gonna
Okay,
help
truck.
I'm behind him in a
I'm on your
second.
street.
Got truck. One shot. Got truck. One shot.
Dead.
That can be
Nice,
Eskies.
looking
They're
for
gonna be Eskies on
Octane,
me.
right?
I'm pitching
Nice,
dark.
looking
I'm
for
pitching dark.
He's on me close. I'm close.
Prestinni and
I'll drop ticket.
Classic.
I'm staying alive. I'm one shot by
We're
Nate.
looking
I'm
over
one
you plat.
shot.
We have
One's
over you
by,
plat.
what's it called?
I got one hill.
I'm about to
Prestinni and hill.
Oh, never mind.
He's
I'm
ticket side hill.
I have your ticket slide.
Yeah, take it in dark. I'm one shot.
Oh,
I'm one shot.
I see the hill. I see the hill. 2 by
I
dark.
need your push. I need your push now.
Fire.
You guys want
Good
to
job,
shower?
Fire.
Fire.
Street.
2 in hill. 2
I
in
got
hill.
it. I got
Challenge
it.
fire. Challenge fire. I think.
I don't take it. No, take it.
Ticket,
I'll
ticket
just
dead.
I'll just take it.
Take it, Charlie. Take it.
Under
Challenge,
half,
one
under half.
shot, one
One shot hill
shot.
I
gunless.
spawn street, guys. Take your time.
Oh, yeah,
Gunless,
one
one shot
shot.
fire side.
Watch it. Eskies push.
I got
He's
fire.
push me.
Well, Joe, we get a nice long listen in there with Røkkr. What were your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think they were always on top of who was the last left alive, which I always like hearing. Hearing names is something I think is just so key in those listen-ins. But, I mean, it was pretty calm, pretty cool, collected. The big thing is that Seattle Surge has 2 big breaks. And the way this map was looking is who was going to find the first break. But they're able to do it at that third hill. They're able to at that fourth hill. They're able to do it again there at P1. And because of that, they break the spawns. They have a nice setup, and they have the lead.
Well, Gunless is going to be working towards streaks as well. Well, never mind. As I start that sentence, he drops. I think he was on 5 or 6 in a row. So no streaks for Surge, but you get the flip, you get the control as you were breaking down. Now on Standy and the entries here. What openings can they find? 2 will fall, 3 will fall. Maybe the opening they need, but the human turret's still set up in the back line. It's going to be Octane. Now 13-11, 4 in a row, standing tall, finding the picks. 1 still all the way in the back. That'll be Standy.
But it's like, do you want that 20 seconds, right? Like, he's finding those kills. But this is giving Seattle an advantage on the other side of the map. So you put a lot of pressure on Attach and on to Priestahh. Now it's all down to Priestahh. And you see it. He's basically in a 1v3 right now. His closest teammate is MajorManiak, who's going to try and come to the front hill. And I like this from Seattle. They're just going to leave him. They're not going to focus on him too much right now. And Octane's going to gun him down. Beautifully done from Seattle Surge. They don't panic. They get into their setup. They make sure they lock this down.
Looking to eclipse this 200-point mark as Classic and Octane still holding it down. The other turret and Gunless, he's hitting as well. 18 and 10 with 3 in a row. Nobody in the hardpoint for the moment. Just trying to deal with the flurry, the flood of players coming in from Røkkr. They seem to be up to the task. There's 1 leaking all the way in behind. That'll be Standy. Trying to get key kills in transition, but as they get in with, 20 seconds or so left, everybody spawns out street from Surge. Like, all right, we'll get set up for next.
Again, like a break just a little too late. You'd like it maybe 10 seconds earlier to at least split that time. They do find a couple of kills. They have the rotation. Prestinni is the only player from the Seattle Surge that can mess with this setup. And he might have done it. He's able to win a gunfight. The stick is there. This gives his teammates the bank spawn. What a moment that could be for Prestinni.
Unfortunately, the guns are hot for Røkkr. They're getting picked apart. It's MajorManiak now on the verge of earning streaks. 5 in a row for him. Kill after kill going the way of Røkkr. But now MajorManiak will get drops, so no streaks through. Still a 40-point advantage for Surge. Still 30 seconds on this hard point as well, so Røkkr can get this close. But really, I mean, first has just been dominated. And while the control of second has been so good for Surge, it's got to be better here from Røkkr if you're going to bring it back.
I mean, a really good job to at least cut it down to around 30 seconds. On the opposite side of the map, though, Gunless is able to win a gunfight. His head is on the rotation, not only for P1, but for P2 as well. Got the help now of Octane. So him and Octane locking things down. On the other side of the map, it's the SMG duo. And everyone is finding kills. That's going to be 4 dead. They all win their one-on-ones. Seattle Surge in a prime spot to close out this game.
Well, it feels like it's been decided here at mid-map. I know there's been a lot more moments, but just the reset of each hardpoint rotation when you get back to first, they have been so good from the get-go. And how hard has that made it for Røkkr?
I mean, yeah, obviously really, really difficult. But again, when they've kind of needed to get in, they have to extend this game. I mean, the breaks, they're not coming in early on, but they're coming in at a time where maybe they can flip P1 and Standy. He's just running through the middle of the map. He's winning every single gunfight. Seattle Surge, well, they were in that prime position, but not so much anymore.
6 straight for Standy. They still got a shot. Trailing just over 30 as he continues to run, roam, and fry, but Gunless will put him down.
Octane spawned in the back. Octane spawned all the way in the back. He's behind him.
Looks like they're picking it up. They're starting to flood towards him. Can Octane get some of these key kills?
Doesn't know he's here. Yeah, he's here.
Well, the way Attached was playing, I thought he realized it. Okay, but it's not going to matter because he gets attached as well. Maybe blessed a bit with the spawn, get into the back, Surge now can put it away. Just over 30 seconds to go in the hard point, 20 points needed for the victory. In the bane of Røkkr's existence has been first and second. Surge can shut it down here. But every time I feel like I'm saying it, Standy makes a play.
They keep making plays to keep their life alive. They just want to get it to the next hill, but here's the problem. They're losing it here and on the rotation. Gunless is already across the map. Well, Octane's like, nah, I'm putting this one away. I'm going to do it myself as he finds five in a row. He gives Minnesota Røkkr a really bad spawn. They need one more second. They're not going to win it here. On the other side of the map, though, like I said, Gunless is already there. And it seemed like chaos there for a bit, but Seattle Surge able to lock it down. And Octane, still a little blessed with that spawn.
Yeah, and, you know, this has been, we've talked through it a little bit for Surge, and they've been setting, you know, some records in a bad way as of late. They need to win here because when you think about Call of Duty League kicking off last year, the longest match losing streak for any team is Minnesota Røkkr last year. They lost 10 straight matches. Right now, Surge are on 9 straight. They lose this, they tie the record for the worst losing streak since the inception of the league. That is one you want to avoid. So they're looking for a win. They're looking for a win big time. They're able to start off strong here on Moscow.
Yeah, just nice back and forth battle early on. Obviously, you have that spawn come in, but I really felt like it was those breaks when we got to the listening. Seattle Surge were able to break the P4 hill, that bust, the first hill, when Røkkr got to that setup. But just taking a look at the stats, I mean, but Standy goes off, but Attach really struggles on the other side. It's a pretty balanced effort, which is what you want to see. Both the subs right around 4,000, both the ARs right around 4,500 damage put in.
Yeah, you gotta think Attach will turn it around a little bit. I mean, we were on with him for a sequence. We were watching and listening where I don't know, his shot didn't seem on point. Maybe it's need to warm up, get hot a bit. We'll see if it'll happen through the Search and Destroy. But Surge fired up, looking to get a much needed victory. It's been a tough stretch for him. It smiles for now. Can they get the dub? We'll be back after this quick break.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by GameFuel. Unlock a CDL team pack with any purchase on gamefuel.com/CDL while supplies last. Offer ends on August 31st. Tournament audio and team listen-ins are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League.
All right, Joe, let's get back to it. Surge, they take the map 1. One step towards the dub, an important, crucial match for both teams in the scheme of Stage 4 and also, well, the entire year when you think about the championship to close things out at the end of the year. Let's look at the quick scope now as we look at all maps and all modes and how the teams compare.
Yeah, I mean, Surge, they have the hardpoint edge. Røkkr, 13 and 16. That might surprise some because they were a really strong S&D team to start the year, but since then been sliding off, and Control, though, have been good for them. But the key thing here, like, you're 3 and 18 if you're Seattle Surge, but you have the one map in this series where you have the 3 map wins. That's Garrison. So I'm just wondering why, I don't know, why Røkkr decided to go that route. Maybe just based off scrims. That's been one of their better maps. But, I mean, if you're Seattle Surge, you got to be happy about that, you would think.
Yeah, well, and the fact that you got a map 1 victory, so maybe everything won't be decided by that game 3 Control. But yeah, now you're thinking if they can take this map 2, who the hell knows? Maybe there's a 3-0 for Surge, and what a huge sequence that could be for them. Get a 3-over against a solid team like Røkkr. And well, I know they've been struggling too as of late, but I think any win right now feels good for either team. Considering
they just get some momentum going. Yeah, I mean, I think we all feel like the Surge have the potential, maybe at a major, to go on a run. You know, the talent is absolutely there. You're just kind of waiting for it to happen, but they need points. It's just a question of, is it too late? And where Minnesota Røkkr, they're trying to avoid it, right? They're at 150. Florida's right behind them at 140. They're trying to keep that, trying to bump that up, so they're safe for champs.
Yeah, 100%. It's Stage 4 of 5. Champs is on the mind if it wasn't already. Gunless, they'll pick up that bomb. Nice push through by Prestinni, but can't stay up as he continues to chow. Puts us into a 2 versus 2 as Gunless will get that bomb planted. Is now Octane and Gunless. The superstars of this team will look to close it out, but Attach and Priestahh in that very, very quickly as the 2v2 goes to Røkkr. They take round 1.
Yeah, really, honestly, kind of an iron round. I know they planted backside, but the fact is what Prestinni just dies back kitchen. And they just kind of run at those 2 players. I thought that maybe, because Octane's not seeing anything on the flank or middle of the map, maybe they just double creek set up inside a ring. But Attach and Priestahh, they just get some freebies. They just catch them trying to rotate into laundry. They hop on the defuse. They're waiting a little bit so that trophy loads on up for the going further in the rounds. But yeah, just you have Attach who finds the first blood and able to wrap on back when his teammates get taken down. But into the 2v2, you think right after this kill on the Prestinni, maybe Octane and Gunless just have a different setup, but Priestahh, Attach, they take it right to him.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved if Prestinni could have stayed alive a little bit longer there, but I think he was going to get killed by Priestahh regardless. It's just, he gets a lot of information. You think that would allow for a little bit of a better maybe setup in the 2v2, but it's Attach with 3 kills. It's a round win for Røkkr. Now to offense they go as Priestahh is trying to get some information across mid. He's receiving some bullets in kind.
And we know Raid a lot, especially defensively, around mid-map and about the information. Octane, he just gets it. He sees him shouldering, he able to find the peak, but now Attach, who found 3 kills, almost gets a kill. Instead, he ends up getting dropped, but MajorManiak's working water stairs to force a 2v3. He might be able to force a 2-on-2, but Classic with that little ledge slide able to give himself the advantage.
Yep, that is tough to track. Now, they lost the 2v2, but surely they can close out here in the 3-on-1. But Priestahh has had some search and destroy heroics this year. Does he have another moment in him? Only positive, really. He's got bomb in hand, but they're quite aware of his position as the chow comes in. They're ready and waiting. Did Octane get it? Because I believe that was 3 for him in the round.
I mean, just look at this. You know, Standy's going for the shoulder. Times it perfectly. Does not want to get caught by someone pushing ring. Well, with those timings, he's not seeing anything. He's not seeing any pressure. Making sure his teammates are able to stay alive. Nicely done by Octane, and this is what they needed. They needed him to have a better search and destroy throughout this stage and able to fine-tune that round.
Oh, so he didn't get the final one, I guess. Okay. I thought he did, but granted, I think all 3 players were shooting at Priestahh. As soon as he
on his screen, he did. He's got it. He's got the limb. That's all that matters.
Yeah, right. Well, Gunless trying to just play from the block. Is Bomb will now start to get in position for the plant. Hey, look like they're gonna have kind of a look at this pinch setup. You got one hitting Laundry, one hitting Art, and two ready to pounce from mid steps. How do you pick this up if you're Surge? Because the collapse is about to come. The communication has got to be spot on.
The big thing is really on the Laundry player. Well, what is MajorManiak going to be able to do? Because he's got multiple to deal with. And the fact that he's able to at least find one, I think is huge for them because that just lets them know their front is going to be a little bit weaker. There's nobody in Laundry. And that's going to be green light for Minnesota Røkkr.
Just a lot of times once that first domino drops on the defensive side, things fall apart. I thought there was an opening. Prestinni almost turns that into a 1 versus 1. I can't quite take the second gunfight. But, you know, when you're in those setups and you're post-plant, Joe, you get it down. You're in a 4v4. Your first player drops. I mean, I imagine comms get a little hectic and everyone's head a bit on a swivel.
Yeah, but that's just a little careless there from Classic. I mean, his teammates are holding a close corner setup. He cannot get caught. They have no information. There's nobody peeking on the back. They don't know if anyone is back there. They're not exactly sure. They know there's one on flank, but where is the rest of that push coming from? We've seen 2-2 split, so the fact that he gets caught, yeah, I mean, you don't want to see that happen. MajorManiak, I mean, yeah, they had multiple players waiting for him.
The fact he got one and all that information, yeah, proved to be the difference. Classic's kill, nearly instantly traded. The same can be said now on the other side. It's to a 2v2 we go. Octane ready and waiting. Well, I don't know if that's poor timing or maybe camera a little bit there from Standy, but he will get dropped, and now it's Gunless in a 1 versus 2. His position now given up. He'll take the CDL and Priestahh. Welcome to it. Puts them to 3-1. Is Røkkr taking over?
I mean, just very quick inside of ring once again, and what they're doing, well, what they've done on both offenses, to deal with the players in the middle courtyard on Seattle Surge, they're sending MajorManiak water steps, kind of in that lurk role that we've seen before, to find those players that are so focused on the cross to A. So I'm just curious to see what Seattle Surge, do they have someone play low water, or just sit water stairs next defense to deal with him?
Well, let's see how they start to adapt. I mean, that has been the biggest thing for our top teams when it comes to Surge. Control, hardpoint, whatever. The mid-game adaptation. 1 for 1 so far, but Bomb will be down water side. You've got, I was going to say, kind of a 3-on-1 as you start to push. But now the other two players going to track over from Røkkr. Does Attach find a good opening? Well, he gets spotted from Tiki. That gunfight's a nightmare. The call comes into Prestinni, and he's able to take down the kill. All on MajorManiak now. 1 versus 3. There's one pick. He's able to get out with his life. Bomb not planted yet.
That's kind of what Attach was hoping to do, was catch a player going for that bomb, but they played it very patiently. Well, Gunless, he's ready for the fight. Teammate was planning, but yeah, Attach is going down those water stairs as a player's crossing the Tiki, hoping that he can catch one on the objective. If he can catch one on the objective, maybe get away with his life. That makes that 2v2 very winnable.
Yeah, instead he's greeted by a very difficult gunfight and then a peek from the other side of it. Surge, bringing it back. And a hole to start off this game, too. Got to keep our eyes on Octane, too. I mean, you highlighted the stats, how good he was in Search last stage. And, I mean, his KD literally is almost cut in a third. When you think of where he's sitting now. And I know it's a small amount of maps, but you'd like to turn it around. And, my God, how big for him it would be to go up 2-0. Maybe a water steps push. Again, this time on the other side of it, they're flooding through, and Standy is taking bullets from just about everywhere. One sneaks on through. He's had one to deal with behind. The call is going to come in, or he reads it, snaps back. He is still up, and Gunless is just lurking right behind him. Gunless is going to get dropped. Everything falls apart.
How many times do we see that Tiki position, even in a round of control? If a 74U can get inside of there, there's so many different angles and timings that they can work with their slides in their mobility. And Standy does a great job just going back and forth, able to find that first blood. And there was the adjustment. MajorManiak, what, a couple offenses in a row? He said, hey, they're sending nobody water. That site is wide open. Let's get a quick plant. Let's get into it. Standy able to find that first blood.
Well, and you kind of said you were really hoping the MajorManiak would be able to help them a bit in search and destroy. Well, there's a play he's capable of. He gets 3 in the round. He's 7-5 now in the game. And yeah, I mean, accuracy could be that guy too. But, you know, he had a stretch where he was struggling. They opt to go for the change. And now MajorManiak's got to leave his mark in every mode. But search maybe where he's got the most potential.
The Seattle a little different. We don't usually see this on offense. Kitchen's wide open. Nobody in the middle of the map. Seattle's going to take that spot. Now, what are they going to do with it in Classic? Again, first blooded. That's probably the 3rd or 4th time. And that just reminds me when we were watching Seattle on this map, what was it, Prestinni? It just felt like he was never alive. And they continuously go down. And advantage. Prestinni, some windies there, but he's able to regain both him and Attach.
Well, when you got players like Prestinni and Classic on the same team, and yeah, maybe it's who's going to get to the first gunfight first? Like, they're both going to be sending it, obviously. And MajorManiak, 3 in the last round, 3 in this one. The final dagger in, 5th on the board. Lovely display of talent there from Major.
He's just a lone player. He's the island player. He's hoping to get 1. But it feels like this blue van, we've seen Cellium in this spot time and time again. It can be so difficult to deal with them, and he catches the timings. But what you were saying with Prestinni and Classic, that's fine that they're both playing faster. Who's finding the one-on-ones? I would just like to see them do it together a little more often and find those trades.
Well, who do you think of when you think of that? Maybe like a Ultra on this map? When you saw them kind of running around with his Bansing CleanX, whoever it was, that like kind of two-headed monster that would take over the map? Maybe you'd like to see that a little bit more. MajorManiak is just on a tear. That's 7 in a row. That streak's on end. I'm getting planted. What a map. Well, what just a couple of rounds. It feels like he's erupted. Finally, he will go down. One of the best ARs in the game. It's Octane that hits the shots. Now it's all going to be on Priestahh. 1v3. Down to a 1 versus 2. They're hunting him down. Prestinni's close. Can't take it. One-on-one. He checks it. Gets the info he needs. Ooh, he almost caught. Down to 41 HP. But Priestahh playing it beautifully. No time. Kill won't even matter, but he gets it for the cherry on top. A brilliant round from Major, followed up by a beautiful one from Priestahh to close this out.
I mean, this second challenge just has to be together. There were some over-challenges there from the Røkkr, right? They were in a 4-on-3. MajorManiak gets gunned, but Priestahh, he knows the time, he knows the situation. You see him shouldering lower, playing his life, getting the information. But who is it? It's Prestinni who flies. He leaves Octane to watch top. Prestinni, he loses that gunfight. Well, Seattle Surge, they continue to struggle in 2, 3, and 5 once again.
Well, what were the 2 guys you wanted to see for Røkkr kind of stepping up for the search? I think you mentioned MajorManiak, you mentioned Priesthah's struggles as of late in the mode. You get 7 and 2 out of Priestahh. MajorManiak a 7 spree, ends at 11 and 6. I mean, they combined for what, like 18? Together 27 kills. Like, it is a magical map from those 2, and I think probably as a Røkkr fan, amazing to see.
Well, and they clutched 2 1v3, so I mean, pretty much, right? As Priestahh's able to find that, you had MajorManiak with the triple kill right before it. But yeah, I mean, 0-4 in stage 4. Now you go to at least you're going to a map of control where you've won, but they have not won a control in a very long time.
Yeah, you're just battling against all these streaks. Like, it's the 0-4 in Surge, it's the 0-9 in Control, it's the 0-9 their last 9 matches. Like, they need something positive, some kind of momentum just to maybe change that mindset a bit. But let's check out our U.S. Army tactical play. It's going to be from round 7. I think it's going to be the bit of brilliance from MajorManiak. As you said, from the blue van, we've seen a lot of players make some fantastic plays there, but MajorManiak just another in a long list to get that done. But it was great to see the confidence out of him in moments. It was great to see it from Priestahh as well. But let's check out the U.S. Army tactical play now. We'll take a look at it one more time.
Yeah, I mean, you see his position right now, right over towards Laundry. I mean, they took Kitchen away, but Classy, he does get first blooded, and now it's just which way are they going to go? Attach gets into Zigas, he goes towards a wide flank. Prestinni's able to win that gunfight, and now it's just an information game. Where are they going to go from the middle of the map? MajorManiak is the one player at A. He is all by himself. His teammates are in spawn and, well, in the offensive spawn, and the fact that he gets one job done. 2, even better, but the triple, that is just spectacular.
Fantastic stuff for MajorManiak, and he's fired up to close out that search and destroy. Røkkr even us up at 1 apiece. We'll be back with the control after this quick break.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. Seany, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Seany Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting seany.com/gaming.
We get right back to it. Now to the control, and yeah, I hate to keep highlighting it, but we've talked a lot about Surge and their struggles in control. We're going to take a look at some of their statistics for it, and Joe, I'm just curious, like, what do you think is really going wrong for them in this particular mode?
Everything? I mean, there's 2 maps they haven't won a map on. I mean, they haven't won a control since stage 2. I don't necessarily know. I don't go back and look at it, but they have to know what is going wrong. But you can see it here in the stats. Like, it's horrible. It's just not great.
Well, I guess I feel that a lot of times we see, what's a prime example? We see a team struggle in one mode, they improve. Whether it was Røkkr early in the year with their hardpoint woes and they got better, or OpTic in their search and they got better. Usually when you're really struggling in one spot, you put a lot of emphasis in getting better there, and you see some improvement, and maybe you fall off in other spots, but they just haven't really improved there at all. And I guess that's kind of surprising to me, because you think that would be, when you're in scrims, when you're in practices, when the team's talking stuff through with the coaching staff, like, that would be the biggest point of emphasis. Or maybe it's because they're lacking in the other modes as well, that it's been tough to put more focus there.
Maybe. I mean, it could go either way, but I don't know. I just, yeah, you kind of know, like, what's the reason why? But they're going to the one map where they have won, which is Scarce and Control. So I think, there's at least a positive. I know there's a lot of negatives around that discussion, but I really don't know. Yeah, it's just like, what is the practice? That's, to me, the real response. What is the practice? How are things going? Is it one of those situations we've heard from multiple teams and multiple coaches where practice on a certain map is really good, but when we go to matches, things fall apart?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. We're not there every day, but I look at what they're doing every single day. It's got to get better.
Well, I guess I just find it surprising with, we talk about the competition, this league, and, the level feels to constantly be rising with how just strong each team is. And with the evolutions to the coaching staff side of things, most teams with multiple coaches now, VOD, review, and prep has to be an all-time high. And for most teams, when there has been a glaring, brutal weakness, you've seen improvements over time, and that just hasn't really been true for Surge. And I guess just as a commentator and a fan of Call of Duty, you like to see teams get better, and there's been glimmers of hope, but never really that breakthrough for the Surge team. But yes, you kind of nailed it. The one silver lining here is it is the only map that you found wins on when it comes to control. Maybe you can get it rolling here. And thankfully, you won that game 1, so you're battling in this series tied up at 1-1.
Yeah, that's really it. For Minnesota Røkkr, they're trying to get back into the swing of things as well in control. Just maybe not a great checkmate team, because I think for Seattle Surge, they're going to get rid of raid. That's where Minnesota Røkkr have found a lot of raid. So they're thinking, this is a comfort map. We're just going to go for it. We don't really care about their records. No matter what, we're going to outperform them.
Well, let's take a look at the Astro social soundboard now. We were just kind of talking about the coaches a little bit and the preparation. And this is a tweet from, I think, Nubsy a couple of days ago. And I think he's just talking about, you just can't give up. Like, until they are officially, not going to be able to make it into the championship, the foot's got to be on the pedal. It has to be. You have to look for those improvements. You have to try and get better. And they're going to keep working. But yeah, I think it's just a tweet out to the fans, kind of like, don't stop believing in us. We still have a shot at this thing. But if it's going to start, if you're really going to have a chance, like, it's now. Like, the do or die time for this team may have started a while ago, just with how deep we are into the season and how far they are behind. Like, it's got to happen now. But just a little bit of a delay, I think, getting into this map 3. We're excited to get there as quickly as we can, but unfortunately, we're going to go to a really short break. We'll be back as quick as we can. We'll hop into the control. Don't go anywhere. We said it'd be quick. I think we're about ready to go. Just a 60-second break while they get a couple issues resolved, and we look to get into Garrison. Hoping to see some success, some improvements out of this Surge team. And for Røkkr, I mean, it's kind of a similar conversation. Yes, you haven't been up against it quite as much, and you've gotten some impressive wins and results, and maybe a deep tourney run here and there. But still, you're battling to get into that top 8, because that feels like that's all that really matters right now, is a shot to make a run at the championship when all the money's on the line.
Well, I mean, if it wasn't for the stage 2 run that they had, this might be a completely different conversation, honestly. Stage 1 wasn't great. Last stage was definitely not what we expected at all. So they're trying to have a bounce back start here. 1-1. They had a couple of wins throughout group stages, but they lose first round at Major 3. It's kind of like, got to figure something out. But in stage 4, 1-1, they had back MajorManiak. It's a question of, it's kind of like what we said. Major 2 at least saw the potential. It's just, can they get back to that consistently?
100%. And I mean, to get top 8, I mean, you might be on the right on the bubble, but you probably just need, 2 deep stage runs maybe when you talk about the tournament. Like, a couple good runs might get you there. They've got one, but it feels like they're going to need another. If they're going to be in that top 8, we talk about the end of the year. But into the control, we get ready to go. Surge looking to brush off this big losing streak they have in the mode. Røkkr looking to keep them there.
Yeah, I mean, that's really it for me. It's kind of, it's going to sound bad, but don't give them a positive to work off of.
100%.
Get them that momentum, get them feeling happy and smiling, just kind of keep them in that spot. They're going to start on defense. Well, it's the SMGs that are going to open up the round. Minnesota Røkkr.
what is it? Like, give them an inch, they'll take a mile type thing. Like, just don't give anything to them. Like, don't give them something positive to work off of. I mean, obviously, Surge are struggling. Don't give them an opening here. That's going to put you right into that conversation if they go into a 1-2 start. If you're Røkkr, come in here and lock it down where they've been struggling. It's a nice start from Standy as he's going to kick off things 3-0. Going to shut it down here defensively is the shots from Attach, able to take down 3 as they come flying at him. 5-1 start, 3 in a row, and an opening to try to apply some pressure, but the bullets start coming in immediately.
I mean, it's just right from the start, right off the break when they find 3 kills. You just have not been able to get out of this position. It was Attach then with 3. Now it's Standy with a couple of more. It's the SMGs who have 10 in the round. This is the last push for Seattle Surge to at least try to contest. But again, there's a Minnesota Røkkr submachine gun player that's going to say, nah, this round's done.
Well, you said don't give them an opening, don't give them a ray of hope. They don't in that first round. It is dominant from the get-go. You were battling out of spawn for almost the entire round. And one of the faster rounds you're going to see here on Garrison Control. And yeah, Standy and Attach just dominating.
Hey, you know, when you can stay alive here at Caution around these stairs, when you can stay alive in dark, this is the choke points that they had to come through. This is your advantage on Garrison when you can get to these positions. Besides that, what? You have your Kreeg's Catwalk, a lot of long angles from these spawns. That's where the ARs can really open things up and allow you to get to those spots. But once you're in those spots, that's when your playmaking ability has to come alive, and it did right there.
Well, some teams have been so much better at getting out of that, right? Like when you lose that opening break, you get pinned, but you get out of it in a wave or two. What's the difference there? Where teams are able to find success?
I mean, probably trading. You have to be able to trade. You can't go 2-3 dead with nothing, or you're kind of back to square one.
Yeah, that's what it was, kind of over and over again, right? Let's see if Surge can get a little bit of a better start on the defense. And, well, Gunless certainly wants to. I think that's 3 in a row for Gunless. Only a couple kills through the first round, but there wasn't much success to find. The beams stay on point for Gunless, keeps them in a good spot. You still got pushed up mid-map as Classic, who's trying to make the plays you just saw Attach and Standy do. And now Røkkr find themselves in a similar spot. Just trying to find an opening, put on the back foot early. Let's see if they can do what Surge weren't capable of.
They've always had one more player to not allow a player like Classic to get pushed up or Prestinni to get pushed up. And there's those trades. This time it's Attached. He's staying alive. So now you have that 3 dead scenario. Now it is 4 dead. Those trades come in. And then when you need the individual plays, you get one out of it. Yeah, there's always one more player from Røkkr to not allow Seattle to get to the spots where they wanted to really put them in that trap. And now they're on the B.
That's really the difference, right? Like, never that true 4 down where the entire map is given up. Are those shots from Standy? Those shots again from Standy. That'll seal the deal. Triple positive out of the gate. 12-4 now on 3 in a row as he transitions over. Could this be clean? He'll keep it going. Another one. Another one. Just hitting from both sides of the map. And on to the point they go quickly. Surge in trouble.
You had a 3-stack, but with that kill from Octane, everything's going to slow down. Attach has to get off. So it looks like they're going to be able to retain control. Andy, now you're a little bit of step ahead, so it's just back on down. But because he shows himself, Classy just takes it right to him. I like that from Classy to try to retain map control. Again, there's always a trade, it seems, for Røkkr. Not completely give up this position.
Well, behind that kill at mid-map, with the rest of Surge basically coming off a spawn, it's the Q to fly for control, but Octane going to catch one on the cross. The AR is hit. Octane and Gunless doing their best in defense. Make sure they can't make that next step out of green onto the point, but MajorManiak does get across, wins a gunfight, but who is it? It's Gunless that picks up 1. MajorManiak is still here. He's on 3 in a row. He's into the point. His teammates win a fight outside of green. And now it's just to support the troops, trying to get in position to help. And they get there.
That was such a good play by MajorManiak to take both gunfights. He has the 74U. He's able to switch to it. Now he's just playing his life, but it's Octane again. He's just trying to hold on, but there's only 3 lives remaining, and Standy's going on a long route. trying to take his time, just hear that sound cue. So he might. Well, now they definitely know he's there. 4 on 3. Time to work with. Trophies are down, though, so nades aren't going to be effective in that spot. But can they find Prestinni? If they're able to take him down, that opens up the collapse elsewhere.
They don't. He's tucked away in a corner, and he gets out with his life. 3 versus 3. Trophy down, but the shots and the cross will take him out. Numbers, once again, over to Røkkr with 20 seconds on the clock. Classic wins it. He stays up. MajorManiak there to hit the shots, though, and the final player will drop. Røkkr with that 1-player advantage, able to close it out and go up 2-0 in this game 3.
They take their time, right? Octane's able to reel it on back, but Standy goes on the long route. They realize they have the life advantage. MajorManiak with a key individual play to really make things messy. Well, Standy, from that transition, just so good throughout that round. It makes it close. They make it close. The number's too much for Minnesota Røkkr.
Just to give you an idea, how important the map 3 can be. The last time Seattle won a control was also the last time they won a match, Joe. This is versus Florida back on April 8th. So we're talking 2 months ago.
Well, yeah, it's a long time. And what's surprising too, and maybe it's just something they switched off of, but I remember Gunless was one of the first players to run that third sub, that third 74U. He hasn't had it out throughout these first 2 rounds. Sticking with the 2 Krigs.
They're going to have numbers here just for a moment. They look to get onto A. Nobody has crossed or is the generator yet. It's just been Gunless and Octane just locking it down with the cribs. Making it so hard on the cross for Røkkr. But now the flurry of gunfights is going to go forward. We'll see who's last standing. It's a 2-for-2 trade, but Classic, he stays up just trying to finesse against everything. Nade here, nade there. Nades seem to be going everywhere. But due to the finesse from Classic, it opens Octane up for 2. They're able to get that A point, put themselves in a good spot to get a round victory.
It's a good spot, but it's... And they keep map control, because there's always the defensive spawn trap that we saw in round 1 that they could get into, but they have a 6 life advantage. Octane's middle of the map, and he is still having himself a map on another 5 spree. He's up to 20 and 11. Right off the break, they're able to capture A. Now over to B. Classic is still alive. They're forcing Minnesota to have to go. And, well, when you force them to have to go, you find 3 easy kills.
Here we go. The brink of a round win, but coming in from behind it will be Priestahh. Not going to get there, gets a kill, but Surge get around on the board. Maybe the A first point, the recipe for success. But really, once you got Octane and Gunless to this plat, they were just lining them up. And then you saw what you see, what feels like for a decade. Classic finessing in front. Octane putting in shots over the top. They get that first point. And then, they had like a 5 live advantage, 2+ minutes to work with for the second zone. Nicely done there by Surge.
Yeah, much needed. They needed that offensive round win. Now put a little bit more pressure on Røkkr to do it again. If Seattle Surge, you maybe send this to a round 5. Take a look at the scoreboard. You have Octane on one side, Standy on the other, but really struggling right now. If you can get something going.
Right on the point go Røkkr. Prestinni, who you called out, needs to really pick it up. We'll be playing from top green. He's worried about somebody pushing through. It was attached. Classic able to pick that up. Now the focus can go back to the other side. I don't know if he didn't spot him at first. It looked a little bit awkward, but he will drop. His teammate does next to him as well. Classic, though. Between, the second half of the last round and really kicking off this one, starting to find a rhythm.
Well, that's huge because Røkkr, they sent some resources over towards A. They're not done with B quite yet because they had some positioning on that radar. So B is still up for grabs. And now you lose map control and you're in a position where you lose, even potential ticks on the point, on the objective to at least have defense for round 5.
So you're of the mindset just like, close that one out first, worry about the second later. Don't get too cute with it.
Yeah, or maybe they're just on the mindset of, there was an opening, we went for it, we'll just go back to B because they're back.
Yeah, Yep, I mean, a little easier to cap, that's for sure. And yeah, it looks like they've regained well. Still a ton of time here. A trade effective from Røkkr. And there's the first zone, so they handle the balancing act. They get back over. Now let's keep an eye on this transition over. Gunless set up deep, able to hit the shots. We'll stagger this push across mid-map for at least a moment. MajorManiak able to win a big one-on-one top green, though. An opening for his team to move forward. A team kill in from attached, but he does take down one of the opposition as well. And here they go.
At early position, to get someone out onto that satellite. That's going to be Priestahh this time. Got the trade, able to find some shots, but they're just trading, and trades are all good for them because they have a life advantage. But it's a nice play by Classic and Octane. That duo working in tandem gives them that position back, and this next set of kills, this might decide the round. Look at that life count. If this gets messy for Røkkr, they'll be put in a tough spot.
Well, it's the subs finding the kills. And Octane looking over once again. Prestinni just trying to stay up. Not the best map, but he can have an influence here. He will get caught as he soars forward, though. Now down to 50 seconds on the clock. Lives just about even here as well. Now Priestahh and company starting to push on forward. What kind of timing does Priestahh find? He might get right in between the defense. He does. He had the read back pocket, but didn't spot Gunless. Standy almost gets the trade, but not a fun one. MajorManiak will hit the shots. Under 30 to go now. One life advantage for Røkkr.
I mean, it's the same thing we saw last offense, right? One life advantage is the difference maker. Standy is going for it. He's trying to gun Gunless, and he does. Are they going to spawn and kill him again? There's not enough time to do so, so they have to go. Octane's able to find Standy, so it's a 3v3 on the point. Prestinni stays alive. Classic with another one. It looks like the last player that is here going to be taken care of. In Seattle Surge, it feels like they're going to send us to a round 5.
Looks like they've held on. Nobody gets there in time. Surge, the last second defense clutch up. Beautiful efficiency with the trades. Once doing Standy Gunless in the back. I thought that was the opening. Like, the fact he won that gunfight, period, was ludicrous. But the players in the point, they're able to hold on.
Well, I think they're just open for 10 more seconds in that scenario because what they would end up doing is basically trapping Gunless again.
Yeah.
They would have trapped him again. I think it would have been a 5v3, and they would have had the same scenario of a man advantage into that push. But there wasn't that time. I think they recognized it that they had to go. The time on the side of Seattle Surge.
The control losing streak can come to an end. Surge can go big in this round 5. They're going to have offense to go. Offense they found success in was an A capture first. These opening moments, so important. As no one's even been able to find a kill. Finally, it's going to be Classic that gets the opener. Multiple players transitioning on defense towards this A site. You really have one lurking underground on the other side. That's going to be Standy. You've got a 2-2 split on offense. Surger taking the fight at both spots. Standy, though, he goes underground. He pops up and gets both kills. So he wins it at B. The rest of his teammates are on A, and back to step 1 goes Surge.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle was trying to do what they did in their last offensive round, which is get A first. And you can see that Røkkr, they were sending multiple players to that position time and time again. And because of that, they send 2 to B to try to get it done, but Standy makes the play. And with that play, attach the ball that up, you have 4 dead and you are trapped. All the map positioning again. It's looking like round number 1, and that is not good for Seattle Surge.
Yeah, no, it's all Standy. I mean, you're thinking there if you're Surge, right? Like, even if we die at A, we've distracted enough or taken enough resources off B, then we're going to get a cap. Standy can't get both kills. It just can't happen. Now you've got, what, just around 15 seconds to go. There's 2 people forward in Prestinni and Gunless. Both are going to fall. In the blender goes Surge. Their chances of ending the streak go to these final 5 seconds. Nobody close enough to the point. The defense too strong from Røkkr. They take the round 5. They go up 2-1 in the series. And the control losses continue to pile up for Surge.
It's these positions, again, where Minnesota Røkkr on offense, they're at least able to get out. They never could. It was 2-3 kills in a row every single time, whether it was at caution, whether it was around vent room. Seattle Surge can't allow that to happen to get yourself trapped, and they did.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough to watch on the minimap. I mean, I know, like, on the POV, we were watching the push develop at A, but I was just staring at, you know, kind of the 2v1 on the other side. And just looking, I was watching Standy just kind of crawl. You saw him moving underground, and I was just thinking, like, how that goes might decide it. And sure enough, Standy gets both. Yeah, once they're in that, whatever you want to call it, that trap, or that just really tough position to break out of spawn when the defense has the setup, they just never really did it once. Once they were pinned, they were pinned.
I mean, Røkkr never gave up. Got a tool, or towards caution by the platform. Never gave up vent room. MajorManiak had a great play towards the catwalk, but looking at the stats, I mean, Røkkr side, it's Standy who leads the way. You get a much better game out of Priestahh. On the other side, Octane almost 5,500 damage, 31 and 21, but Prestinni 12 and 30. Not even 3,000 damage from him. We'll see if he can, you know, get things going here in map 4.
Yeah, maybe you feel good you pushed it that far considering the map that Prestinni had, but it's just signs of frustration from the Surge side. It's so close, but not quite enough to end that streak. The control woes continue, and they bounce back on the hard point. They were able to take map 1, a chance to push it to a 5th and final map when we get back from this quick break.
We should be fine.
Let's go. Let's go.
The checkmate hard point we go for the map 4. Both teams currently 2-5 in the league, so not necessarily a solid one for either team. But for Surge, you've got to take both hard points in the series to get this to a 5th and final map and get a series victory. They were able to win that map 1, right? They look solid. This is how it's looked over the course of the series, but it's back-to-back victories there for Røkkr.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise here. 2-3-5, where they haven't found a win throughout the stage. That's where they're struggling. But over to the hard point, can they get this to a Moscow swing for sure? We're going to their map pick, but it's a refresher on map 1. Gunless, Octane, both +6. You see all that time in the hill. But it was equal. I mean, I think Classic and Prestinni had right around 4,000 damage. You had Gunless and Octane right around 4,500 damage. It was a team map, and it was a tough battle, but they persevered through.
And if you're Prestinni, it's got to brush off that map 3. I mean, that couldn't have been fun. You were 12 and 30, almost triple negative. Could not find any rhyme or reason, any rhythm whatsoever within that map 3. You got to bring it here in the hard point. You know how important, really on any map, I mean, we've talked at length about SMG duos and how the top teams all have just incredible SMG duos. Classic and Prestinni, they've got to get rolling here.
Well, I think especially too for Prestinni. I'm not putting a ton of pressure on him, but we saw in stage 2 when they won a couple of games and they were competing with some of our better teams, he was just popping off. I mean, he was probably their best player at the point. He put so much pressure on the map, so that's why we always look at him. But Octane coming off a really good game 3. You keep that up in this game 4 checkmate.
Well, off the rip we go. Standy had some brilliant moments in that last map. I'm going to attach. We'll look to shut down everything we were talking about, slow down that SMG duo, but Classic will find the opener inside of the plane. Some hard point time to Seattle early. Obviously, they're going to focus on trying to get the flip, but you can't flip. At least get whatever time you can here through first.
And that was a great start for the SMG duo. Speaking of that, Prestinni, he gunned Standy. Classic with the follow-up. There's that sort of two-man push that we want to see. As you said, just eating up that early time with these trades. It's a nice nade, but Standy, he just sticks through it. He just keeps the pre-aim up, and that pre-aim turns into a multi-kill for him. Map control for Minnesota Røkkr.
Yeah, you can see how deep 2 and 4 are playing. Attach and Priestahh. They was making sure no one leaked through kind of top or bottom side of the map. Now with 5 seconds left, they can really start to transition over to hold second. But Surge, you put up 30 points there on first, so regardless of how this second hard point goes, at least you found a healthy amount of time to make sure this isn't like a lopsided start. If you can get a break here, though, that'd be even better.
They have some map control to work with. The players inside of playing Classic was just waiting patiently. But off of spawn comes Priestahh. Able to take down 3. That'll just force them to have to hit through the front. Well, MajorManiak, he's going to be ready for this. At least I thought he was going to be, but Octane, he is soaring.
Oh, dude, after that, when they got the kill off the player in the point, and Octane, whatever Batman type play that was, I thought he might get the break, but there's still enough numbers here from Røkkr to hold on to the hard point. And they'll go up 15 behind that. Looks like the scrap time going to be able to go the way of Surge. They'll look to get set up for our next hard point, which pops under the plane. Wrapping all the way back deep was Classic, just to make sure they got a nice spawn to get set up, and they'll look to layer the map now. It'll be Classic inside plane, ready to deal with this push as it gets developed.
Nobody on the time quite yet. We have 2 players towards the top. Top of that H3. That's me, MajorManiak and Standy trying to get pushed up. They've done that, but Octane, he goes on the flank, and he's just challenging everything and anything. He's on point right now, up to 8-5. Trying to keep his team in the match, while trying to keep his team control of this hill. But not a lot of time earned by Surge with that early setup. Minnesota Røkkr, they're going to get on it. Again, you have MajorManiak working the top side of the minimap.
Well, it's just about a tie game right now. Surge working hard to get us to a 5th and final map. Octane nearly double positive. The comms have got to be in a good spot if they're going to take this map forward. Let's go to an Astro listening with Seattle Surge.
They're over by point. They're over by point. Yo, Dylan's going left, low left wing, right there, yeah.
There you go. I'm trying to rotate over here.
Jump up A-wing, jump up A-wing, jump up A-wing.
In the middle point.
I'm getting down time. I'm down time.
I have a trophy on you.
Yo,
give
me a second.
Wait in.
Got one. I'm gonna pinch him.
Hard flash.
Nice,
Dylan's on me point. Dylan's on me point.
Yeah,
in middle point.
Still alive.
Yo, I'm their side looking.
A-wing, push me. A-wing, push me. Oh, fuck. Dead. Good job,
Yo, 2 top lane. 2 up here. Yeah, one here, Kevin. One here,
Ivory up here. Ivory middle.
I'm dead. 2 on time. 2 on time.
Their side. Hold 25 seconds. They're gonna push fast. We're gonna spawn out. Alright, put.
Major front wood.
These are huge.
Russian
fight the roll.
3 kill and ult, Standy.
Alright,
Major new. Preston's going sick.
I'm dead. Another one here.
I'm going up. Yo, under plane.
Here.
He's on pocket. Dylan.
Damn, he hasn't crossed green yet.
No time. It's not time.
He's in wood. Major wood.
One shot, free kill.
He's front wood now. Front wood.
Good shit spawn in the back.
There's one on there.
Major's
There's one
Major's 100% alive on
Yeah,
there.
here.
They're one on the plane.
One under plane. Let's see my time. Two top plane. Watch out, half wall, guys.
Jump back
Two
over,
top plane
jump
as
back
well.
There's left wing.
Yeah, they're heading
alive
left.
on
I
green,
have
alive on
left.
green.
That's a guy half wall.
Nice top plane.
Top plane right now. Top
On
plane.
pillar present.
Stuck on top plane. He's stuck top plane.
Nice. Last top plane. They're all front now. All front. I can get time.
Front wood.
Not gonna have a trophy though.
Three front. One front wood. Front wood.
Weak front hill. He's
half wall.
Half wall flanked.
Yeah. He pushed through.
That's it.
Push you back green. Back green. One on you.
Garage. Free kill garage.
All right, exit dead.
On pillar now.
I
don't see him.
It's Preston.
Come in time.
Weak on time.
Alright, 20 seconds here. Let's try to put this time. Put it this time. We have to hold them off. They're gonna kill us.
Our top exit. Pillar and our top exit.
I'm going right. There's two literally push up in their spawn right now.
I got him weak on exit.
Slow the game down. Get some.
I don't see the guy right.
Weak on exit.
Nade pillar. Not top pillar.
Yeah, top pillar. Under half wall. He's under half.
Joe, it felt like the comms were pretty spot on. Like, they get the break, they do the hard part, but then that next wave of kills, once they got on, just weren't there.
It was like you had these moments of, all right, we're doing this, to like moments of frustration because I mean, there was a couple of plays. At that fourth hill, you had they get the kills and then Octane gets on the point, all die. Then towards the fifth hill, they have the spawns, but it's MajorManiak, then it's Priestahh. They just continuously fight from the front, and Seattle's like, we have to be getting time, but we aren't. This situation kind of sucks.
It's like, it almost felt, I know this is silly, but like from watching from their POV a couple times, it almost felt like they were playing against 5. Like it felt like there was always extra guy, like from the POV we were watching. Like it just never seemed that clean.
They weren't trading, right? Like it just felt like it's kind of what we saw in the control. Like they had some positions, but hey, they brought it back though. They found some time here at this first hill, and they break the section. Last time through, not able to do so, but Gunless is on a 7 spree.
Well, there's the artillery. Not always the easiest to get efficiency out of streaks on this map, but see what Gunless can do. He's going to call it in immediately. A ping and call out to his teammates as well. As they lead to an opening, Gunless is going to just keep getting kills off of it. I mean, his streak doesn't hit, but his Krieg sure does. He's now on 9 in a row, approaching a double-digit streak.
Moments like this, like, can they capitalize on this situation? They need to be able to find these 30 seconds. They get something positive going. Gunless able to find the kills. A big moment for Seattle Surge. A chance here to take the lead.
11 in a row now for Gunless as he is taking over the map, down 10. You don't see many streaks like this in the Pro League. How far can he push it as he soaks up the remaining time with just 10 seconds left? His teammates will try to fan out across the map. But it'll be Røkkr looking to answer back in third. As Gunless is just trying to put damage into anybody, but now we'll stick with him. I mean, he's on such a big streak, you kind of have to. I just want to know how high can he push this as he's just clearing all his angles as he looks to push up the map. And look at the patience here from Attach. The peak finally comes in. The timing couldn't be worse for Gunless. That streak will come to an end.
Well, what does that turn into? That turns to Attach finding a second kill and them now having map control. You do have Octane and Prestinni, though. They're going to spawn top left. Røkkr, they're not going to be ready for this. Going to turn the tides for Seattle Surge. But, I mean, even with that streak, the fact you lost P5 spawns, you just lost a big spawn there at P2, you're only down 5 seconds for Røkkr. They have to be feeling that they're in a pretty good position.
Oh, 100%. They can do this. They can get us to a final map, and maybe it'll be Gunless that gets us there. The full display of his talent. You've been seeing it in this map 4. As the lead builds, now up to over 20 points. But an important sequence now when you talk about the 4th and 5th point. And this is where things kind of fell apart in a way. Like, you had your good moments, but then you had your blunders. Can you tighten it up a bit if you're Surge?
Well, that's another one. They have 3 dead. There's only 1 more alive on the point. They're not able to find him. So this just turns into Røkkr still having the left side of the minimap and them still having control of the hill. There's just these moments where you think they're going to make it a little bit cleaner, and then they don't. But now they just respond with 3 kills of their own. They're trying to get pushed forward. Røkkr trying to hold on to those spawns.
Yeah, it was just headshot, headshot, headshot. The flurry as Røkkr got wiped off the map. So some nice time, but the spawns, at least when you talk about next, still in control of Røkkr. Standy coming in and popping off with the pistol. That'll be 3 down for Surge. Over to next. Just like last time through, it'll already be MajorManiak in position. You saw wild gunless spray. Standy trying to mimic that, now on 4 in a row.
Well, that's just huge when those kills come in, because look at Seattle Surge's position. MajorManiak, he pushed all the way up when he rotated earlier. He was on the hill. He made things messy. You don't even have plane control right now if you are Seattle Surge. This is the strength of having P5 with the spawns, but hey, what can get you out of this situation? A streak. At least make things messy. Put them in positions for your teammates to find the kills and find the time. That's exactly what that cruise missile does.
Well, allows Gunless to get all the way to the back, but he's still hunting one. Unfortunately for him, Standy repositions. This whole time he's been searching for it. 2 of his teammates will fall. Classic obviously still in position to make a play, but there's a tack check towards the back. He'll get hit. He's able to stay up third. He finds a kill as well. 3 drop now for Røkkr. And there's the spawn out with just around 15 seconds left, but you'll take any time you can get right now if you're Surge, who are inching closer to victory. Now, one of those maps, like usually when it goes the distance show, it gets decided between first and second.
Yeah, I mean, you get the spawn out, but it's at the wrong time. It's with 15 seconds left, and I think Røkkr are okay. They're going to be like, all right, we got some early time off that hill. We survived the streak, and we're still in this. It's a tie game, and they're about to have the lead with this P1 control.
Yeah, that spawn out 20 seconds earlier would have been great, but
it would have been fantastic.
You only get 10 or so points, and you know, I was like, you'll take any points you can get, which I agree with, but you're in a tough spot now to go ahead and clutch up just based on where both teams are spawning. And it's just been all purple in the kill feed. It has been all Røkkr over this last sequence.
Okay, you do have Octane who spawned top right, but the fact is they have to get him off P1. So Octane's now in a position of, I have to trust my teammates to find these kills. His position is found, though. Standy's going to take him down. Lash is at least able to contest, but there's nobody across the map.
Oh, Classic gets 3. He keeps him alive. It'll get us to another hard point. But look at that pinch kind of coming in because number 2, an attached spawns all the way out. We'll see what destruction he's able to deal as they fly on forward. They surge on forward. They can't get in. I don't think anyone's going to be able to touch it. Røkkr pick up the kills. They close it out 3-1 in the map 4. Felt like there were moments where Surge could have capitalized and maybe walked away with a W, but in the big moments, it is Røkkr who get it done. And well, it was massive for either team, but a huge win here for Røkkr to, keep that dream alive of a winner's bracket start here in our stage 4 major.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a good spot now, right? 2-1. There's still some tough matchups, but you got to be feeling pretty good with LA Thieves and Paris yesterday. It could come down to that matchup, just depending. But the side of Seattle Surge, there it is, 10-match losing streak. And if we show the scoreboard, really the difference is in those submachine guns again. I think it's both Standy and attached right around 30. Classic gets going at the end, but Prestinni struggling throughout that map 4.
Well, what's been the one
feels
constant?
Like there's always one. Yeah, there's always one that's off.
Has been Gunless and Octane. The SMG part, whether it's been Looney, Decimate, whoever's coming into this classic, like that's where they've struggled to find the right fit for this. And until they can, it's going to be so hard when you think about all the teams in this league and the SMG firepower you have on a lot of these squads. Think about it. Røkkr aren't even a good team right now. Like, they are middle of the pack. And you still have Attach and Standy, who are very, very good. It's just, it doesn't get easier for Surge when it comes to the matchups to that position.
I mean, take a look at it here, right? I mean, both Attach and Standy right around 5,500 damage. I mean, for Seany, while he is 19 and 33, he still put up almost his second highest damage output. So he was putting in work. So I don't think the kills and deaths really aggregates to what he was doing on the map. But for Minnesota Røkkr, the fact is you survived the 12 spree from Gunless, you survived the streaks. When they were put in a really tough situations at P5 multiple times, they adjusted. They made those individual plays, and it was behind those subs keeping them alive.
Well, we're going to take a look at one of those moments. This is going to be our scuff play of the game because, yes, after that 12 spree from Gunless, it was Standy that had a really nice spree when you were talking about control for 4 and 5 and getting set up to really start to make a run. You're down 20 right now. This is where I think Standy and the pistol, let's start popping off. I know they're weak, but he's hitting his shots. He goes on a bit of a stretch here, and look at where you're spawning out if you're Surge. This gives so much control to Røkkr.
Well, it's just look at the clock, right? You see 3 seconds left. So that's when the next hill is going to pop. It pops up, and you see the position of Surge. They're all the way across the map. And now they have to deal with different layers. You have to clear out through the airplane. You have to push up towards that yellow street. They're lucky they had a streak to make that a little bit messier, because that could turn into a full 60. But here for Røkkr, I mean, the match I'm really looking at is that next one. That could decide our 3rd seed. When you talk about them having to play Atlanta FaZe, because the fact is, LA Thieves, they lost to Paris. The pressure is kind of on them, but it could come down to Minnesota and Los Angeles Thieves.
No, I can't wait for that one. That should be a great one when you think about, both teams in a very similar position when battling for that winner's bracket, kind of the middle of the pack when you talk about where squads are and maybe potential to improve drastically from where they currently sit. But it's 3 straight L's for this Surge team, and you've still got OpTic up the bat, which has not been an easy matchup for them, and probably won't be at any point this year. And Legion, who have showed some strength as of late.
Yeah, they're getting better. But you take a look at these losses, go to a game 5, game 4 here, but you're still 0-7 in 2, 3, and 5, right? You have 3 hardpoint map wins, but 0-7 elsewhere. Those game modes have to improve.
They've got to. We'll take a look at the overall results from today, but it's an Ultra 3-0, an OpTic 3-1, and a Røkkr 3-1 to wind down on our Saturday's matches. Then we've got 3 more to bring you tomorrow as we inch closer and closer to a Stage 4 Major, which will be on LAN, which we are all thrilled about. I'm sure these players are super pumped up, but let's check out the matches tomorrow. Joe and I will be casting the 2nd and 3rd matches, so we'll bring you FaZe and Thieves and Subliners Empire. But to start off today, it'll be Guerrillas versus Mutineers.
Yeah, I mean, for Los Angeles Thieves, I mean, that's a huge matchup when you're just talking about for them, because they're 1-1. And then that would put pressure on them to have to win potentially both matches. Can Empire get things going against NYSL? Yeah, Clay versus Old Squad again. And then for FaZe, I mean, they're just in the driver's seat right now, just trying to improve. That's really all it is for Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, they absolutely are. But that's going to do it for Joe and I. We hope you enjoyed the matches. More to come tomorrow. Before we head out for the day, we've got Standy, who's going to sit down with Lottie to break things down. He had a massive series. Can't wait to hear from him. That'll be right after the break.
Hello everybody and welcome to your Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. Joining me I have Standy from Minnesota, Røkkr. Congrats on the dub, man. Big stuff, a big win to put you guys at 2-1 this stage. Now we know you guys are always working on things to try and improve the gameplay and try and improve the team as you go through on the way to the major. But what's your main focus been for this stage?
I think recently we've been trying to find like 1 or 2 hardpoint maps that we're really solid at, so we can have like a bigger pool. And also we just been really like being hard on ourselves in S&D practice to make sure that we're playing really good S&D, because realistically S&D used to be one of our pretty much our strongest game mode, and it's a really good mode to have a backbone on. So we're trying to get our S&D better, and I think recently in Control we've been really solid, so we're just going to keep practicing and getting better at S&D, and I think it's going to lead to more wins.
Absolutely. Now, I tell you what, something that has led to more wins, MajorManiak joining the starting lineup has certainly had a positive impact. What kind of impact do you think Major has in terms of the teammate, what he does for the team, and kind of how he can push you forward for the rest of the stage?
I think Mike's a really good teammate, and he brings a lot of intangibles in a way. I think he is really good at kind of like controlling the map and making the map easier for you when you play. And I also think he's a really solid S&D player, so I think bringing him on board will help improve our S&D, just like you saw in that raid. He had a really big map, so I mean that's the goal. And Mike's a really good player. He brings really good energy and aura around him, and I've been really liking playing with him so far. He's a great player.
I love to hear it, man. That's always a good thing, getting on with your teammates, isn't it? It's always a good thing. Now, you have 2 matches left, right? So you got Thieves and you got FaZe coming up. How are you going to use these matches to prepare yourself as a team heading into that major? Because it's going to be tough waters out there, Standy.
We're going to use these matches to like look back and try to fix some little mistakes we're making here and there, because obviously, like I said earlier, we're trying to get a bigger map pool, get a lot better at search and destroy. But we're just going to look back on these maps and also study the other teams and just make sure that we're getting in the right mindset, and we have a big map pool when we play these other teams, and we can catch them off guard a little bit more.
Beautiful stuff. Now, Standy, before I let you go, I hear you have a couple of shout-outs that you need to do before you go off and relax the rest of the night.
So first, I'd like to shout out my mom, Mama Standy. It's her birthday today. She's 45.
Hey.
I just want to say I love you, and you're amazing, and I hope you have a great day. And then my second shout out is I want to give a shout out to Coach Vinny, if you know him out there. He's a solid guy, one of my favorite coaches at Vinny Gage. He's a great guy. And then lastly, I didn't forget you. Shout out Michael Berger, beast. And yeah, that's all.
Amazing. Well, I'll tell you what, some epic shout-outs there. Happy birthday, Mama Standy. Incredible stuff from you, and I'm sure she'd be so proud of you today. So well done, and best of luck as you go forward, man.
Thanks, Lottie.
Well, there we have it. We got birthdays, we've got shout-outs happening left, right, and centre. We've got Michael Berger also having a second shout from his hero here at the Call of Duty League. What more could you want? Well, I'll tell you what, maybe a death segment. A last death segment for myself, Nameless and Study. That is going to be the icing on the cake. We will see you guys right after the break. Over one of the beautiful beaches in Miami. I mean, God, look at that view, folks. Look at that view. And I tell you what, you'd probably be thinking the same thing if you are fans of the winning side when we take a look at the schedule with results. What a view it is for your teams that have made it through today with a dub. Here is our results on our schedule presented by the US Army. And there we go, Toronto steamroll it 3-0 against London Royal Ravens. Incredible stuff. Our game fuel marquee match saw Chicago. They're back at it. Paris Legion couldn't quite hold up that ice against them and they go down 3-1 there. And then finishing off the day, we had Røkkr securing the dub against Seattle Surge. Unfortunately, Surge just could not pull through with that one, and ending result 3-1 as well. What a day it's been, folks. It's been quite a long day actually today. It's been quite long, but I've had a blast with all of you guys. I've got to say though, in terms of the last match we saw, Røkkr versus Surge, quite an interesting one, and I think there's a lot of topics that are going to come out tonight on the desk here, talking about a couple of teams. But starting things off, we got Røkkr and Stud. I hear you've got some analysis lined up for us, and I believe it's the S&D in the last round there.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be that game too, and this is a situation where the Røkkr, throughout all of that map number 2, they were just clutching up. You saw MajorManiak. He was that player in the round previously at that aBeZy site by himself, and he picked up a 3-piece on the blue van. But this is the final round, and this is where eventually throughout this round, Priestahh finds himself in a 1v3 situation, and Seattle, they have the man advantage. They know exactly what they need to do because this is a situation that they were in before. Like earlier on the series, they were in the same exact 2v1 situation with a player playing towards bedroom, and they play it the same way. They did not change anything about it. You see how Minnesota, they were able to just go in there, earn that free bomb plant. Obviously, Seattle, they start down with a man down, so they have to try to work in and try to get the man advantage in towards their favor. So 2 gunfights come in, and then eventually the 3rd one as well. So now it's all up to Priestahh in towards bottom bedroom. He finds his first kill on the Gunless, and obviously you see there's only 25 seconds left on the clock. And this push right here out of Prestinni, I just do not understand. Like, it has to be a double challenge that comes in from Seattle, and this is the same exact thing that happened before. Octane has that AR, he's just gonna post up on the head glitch on bomb, thinking his teammate's gonna be able to win the gunfight, but he doesn't. So at that point, Octane has to change his play. He has to try to push out towards bedroom, and just couldn't. It was just not enough time left on that clock for him to make that play, and that's just something that we've seen out of Seattle. Always choking in those final moments, and you just have to be patient there, specifically Prestinni. You gotta wait for Octane there so the double challenge can come in and you still be able to fight through the rest of those S&D rounds.
I totally agree, and I feel like we've seen them make that same exact play before. If you remember, it was at the same bomb site and Octane pushed through bottom. So it's like Octane made that play before, and now we're seeing Prestinni do the same thing. But switching over to the Minnesota side of things, they were extremely clutch throughout this series, which is something, you know, hugely improved upon from their last few series. We saw them clutch up in the hardpoint, nearly on the first hardpoint as well, where they won that gunfight in front of P2. If it weren't for Octane getting behind them, you know, that could have been a different story. So yeah, they had a great series overall, and I think you got to tip the hat to Minnesota for seizing those opportunities in the final moments of these games.
Definitely. Real quick, Ant, do you feel like MajorManiak's made a big difference to this Minnesota Røkkr team? Do you think that was kind of what was missing in their slump?
It's hard to say. It's like, I like MajorManiak's play, and I think sort of what Standy said is absolutely on point. Like for Search and Destroy, that was where I wanted to see them make big strides of improvement, bringing in MajorManiak, because that's where he comes from. Initially, when he started playing Call of Duty, he was a Search and Destroy star, and that's the mode that was their backbone. And Standy just talked about all that in the interview, so I think that's spot on. If he can continue to have maps like that, like he did on Raid, then they will have a backbone on this roster. They can slide their way back up into that top 4.
It's nice to see it come full circle, because obviously after discussing it this morning, something that I actually said on the desk was I was looking for them to fill in those gaps, look for them to fix those mistakes, make a bigger impact on their gameplay, and I feel like they are doing that. It's coming slowly but surely. I think this was a good move for them. I know that obviously Surge, on the other hand, not having the best, I would say, week, but I would say, honestly, 10 games, unfortunately. It's a losing streak of 10 currently, which actually, ties them up from overall as the longest losing streak we've had in the Call of Duty League across the 2 years we've been running here. It's not ideal, and ironically, Røkkr actually holds the other tie, so that's quite amusing to say itself. But I think with that, bearing that in mind, and 10 games not being able to win one, which is, it's extreme, man. Is it time to make a change? What do you fellas think?
I think so. I know that they've publicly come out and said that they weren't going to make another change through the end of the season, but
It's just not working. I mean, every single time you get a major, huge game out of a player like Octane or Gunless, they're still not able to get these wins. They're getting to the final moments, like they look solid throughout, and then they just crumble. Like Prestinni, I know that he was, not playing well in the beginning of the season, then he sort of picked it up. He just has these games where he does not play well, and I hate to call him out because he has gotten better, but that series was unacceptable. I mean, the guy was 12-30 in that control. In the hard point, I know he had a decent amount of damage, but man, he was just losing like nearly every gunfight that we saw him get in, and that's not going to make it any easier on the squad. So yes, I think they should entertain making another roster change because nothing is working at this point. They know that it's not going to be fixed. Like, they have a mental block at the end of these maps. There's players out there. I think if you pick up, a submachine gun from challengers who can come in, I think you're automatically going to get better, no matter what, just for the new life coming into the squad. What do you think, Jay?
I'm right there with you, man. It's just like today we watched Octane. He was on point. Like, the guy was running around doing whatever he wanted. AK-74U, Krieg, didn't matter. And then Gunless, he went on a 12 spree today. Like, a 12 spree is not easy to do. And then the fact that they are losing these respawns the way that they are, like if Octane doesn't get that spawn in the back in that map number 1, they lose that. With them putting up insane stats. And this is just something that we've seen with the Surge since the beginning of the year. It's just the inconsistency out of this team. And more specifically now, out of the main focus that we went through 4 stages has to be the SMG presence. It's just like Octane and Gunless, they're going to give you the best that they can. They're going to go out there, pick up the kills, and do what the team needs them to do. It's just on the SMG players, the inconsistencies. Like, I thought when they picked up Classic, like him being an in-game leader, doing all the dirty work, would open up the map for Prestinni, but it hasn't, man. Both of these guys are not performing, and it's really hard to see for a player like Octane, who's just been, this is not the year number 1. This is year number 2 where the guy's on Seattle Surge, and it's just not been good, man. And it kind of sucks, but I feel like they really do need a roster change, and they really got to think about what their next opportunity can be.
I will say this, if they don't make a change, I'm sorry, I just come in for 1 second. If they don't make a change, I honestly think that that would be a sign of them just giving up the rest of the season. I think they have to entertain a change, and it has to be now. They have to look at players now.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was just going to say it's kind of just, preventing the inevitable, trying to kind of push it away. And it's the problem being that we talked about this morning, kind of joked about it as well. But in all seriousness, they really are the best team at not quite winning games, like almost getting there, but just not getting to across the finish line. And I think that's kind of the sad part about it, is that they are right there in certain areas. In certain areas they are, and you can see, like you said, part of the team are performing really, really well. And it's such a shame to see that the other half aren't. So it's more like this team has so much potential. You need to let them fly now. You need to do what you have to do as a team and be able to make these sacrifices, be able to make these changes at this point, because otherwise, you're just going to get nowhere. And like you said, Nameless, it's almost like you're kind of giving up on the opportunity to actually make it somewhere through the rest of the season. Big decisions, man. It's big decisions, to say the least. But I'm kind of excited to see where it goes from here, see if they do make a change, see where the wind blows them, to be perfectly honest, and where the wind is blowing us tomorrow, folks. Nice little segue out of the seriousness we have there. Why not just throw a pun on it, folks? Let's have a look at our schedule presented by the US Army to see what is coming your way for this Sunday. So beginning your day off, we've got Florida Mutineers taking on LAG. We've got our T-Mobile 5G weekly drop, folks. Remember, lots of goodies to be had there, thanks to T-Mobile. It's LA Thieves versus Atlanta FaZe, a big game for the Thieves. And I think FaZe are going to be using this to try and really kind of elevate themselves up as they continue through their stage, and let's see what Thieves are going to serve them here today. And then Game Fuel marquee match is going to be Dallas Empire versus NYSL tomorrow. So some big dogs here, big dogs on the board, some bangers. We've got a favourite game out of those boys that you're looking forward to seeing?
Honestly, the first one.
Definitely the last one.
I think the first one, LAG.
No, mine's
LAG versus
the
Mutineers.
last one.
I want to see how good Mutineers truly are. I'm excited about these guys. They're going to be our next big team. I'm excited to see if they can come out and dominate.
I was surprised you didn't say
I'm
New
excited
York.
for New York
and
Empire.
There we go.
Of course,
That's why I am New York and Empire.
Of course.
The reason why is because obviously HyDra was playing through his flu game last game, and he really was still being able to put up those numbers. So it's going to be great to watch him go up against Dallas Empire, who are trying to still get their footing with Vivid. Shotzzy's playing at an MVP caliber ever since he's got the fresh cut, so I'm excited for that match.
Slow down. One game.
Hey,
it was one game.
We're going to have to see. I like it. The flu game's off the shelf right now, thank goodness, for New York. And then we also have Buzzcut Shotzzy potentially coming out to play tomorrow. So I'm excited to see what is going to be unfolding. Thank you so much for joining me once again, gents. I'll see you tomorrow. Folks at home, we will see you tomorrow as well, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. You know the drill. We'll see you for a fantastic Sunday. Get some rest and good night.
Toronto, right now, they're just keeping control of top plat. The second streak is going to come in for Vance. They're trying to close it out here.
They are. We've got all our streaks coming through nice and quick. Vance does take down Paul, and based off the streak utilization, it's Ultra who are able to answer late.
Big one-on-one.
Did anybody from London get here in time? Seany at least is able to escape for the moment. Now it's Afro's turn. The nice double nade from Paul. Unfortunately, takes down his teammates, and with that, they line up toward the stretch, and the Ultra will claim a victory here once more.
The exact same setup that we've had last rotation, it's working here again. You see Formal backed up for a second just to make sure that nobody spawns out, but they're 15 seconds away from winning this match.
And I don't think you can talk about how important it is enough, because if Dashy, if you critique one thing about what's something he loves to do.
He loves fighting.
He loves fighting over challenge. Yeah, he does. So just kind of getting that in his ear multiple times, it's crucial from their vocal leader. And now 6 points away from closing it out as Formal will look to pick up the scraps inside T2P, go to work. It's 5 in a row for Scump. It's a hard point win for OpTic. They'll take the series 3-1.
Flash is at least able to contest, but there's nobody across the map.
Oh, Classic gets 3. He keeps him alive. It'll get us to another hard point. But look at that pinch kind of coming in because number 2, an attach spawns all the way out. We'll see what destruction he's able to deal as they fly on forward. They surge on forward. They can't get in. I don't think anyone's going to be able to touch it. Røkkr pick up the kills. They close it out 3-1 in the map for